And you will, if they offer water, take it, because you're going to want, it's refreshing and cooling. It can help you through that really rigorous process at times going to an interview to have a nice cool drink of water. So take it. It's out on the table. Don't hesitate to pour yourself a glass before the interview starts if they offer it. Okay? So definitely take that. And no one thinks less of you if you do that. Trust me. Typical interviews begin with, well, again, tell me about yourself, and it poses 2 questions there when you do that. To get you relaxed, like we talked about earlier, in which you know, and then also to learn about any ingrained values, beliefs, and behaviors that are correlated with highly effective teaching. Again, you're describing who you are and where you come from, what your experiences are. Again, the resume or portfolio, to guide a 3 or 5 minute response to the presentation to the job is okay. And I will tell you, if you bring a portfolio in, the best time to do this, don't do it at the beginning, okay? Because the interviewer is getting set up to do some things, especially if it's a panel view. At the end of the interview, we're going to ask you if you have any questions, and you should have questions. If you've done your research, districts love questions. Again, it goes back to that concept that people love to get questions about themselves. Find out some questions, have at least 3 to 5 questions out there that you can write down. And during that time, this is great. I have some questions at this time I'd like to give you my interview when I'm asking, or my portfolio rather, while I'm asking the questions. And those people, if it's a panel of you, will go through and they'll usually get to 1 or 2 people, and they'll look through the portfolio while you're asking the questions. That's the best time to do it at the end, okay? To give that portfolio at the end. And people will look at that. But definitely have the questions. Exhibit confidence, but not cockiness throughout the interview. That means you won't have all the answers to every question or situation. If you don't know the answer to a question, admit it, but also reveal your willingness to continue to learn. Very important one. Very, very important one. You're going to ask a question that you may not have the experience in yet, or pull from your background knowledge, experience base in student teaching, whatever those roles you had prior to coming at interviewing. And they may ask you, it's maybe a situational type question. Don't make up something. Don't pull for something. Don't be dishonest, because they'll see through that. Be honest. Well, that's never happened to me yet. Or I've not experienced that thus far. But if I did, I think I would handle it this way. That's an honest response. And see how you're still answering what they're looking for? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to admit that you have not experienced that before. But I would handle it this way, or this is how I may approach it. Okay? That's a great response, as opposed to you trying to go off the cuff and make up something, because you'll get caught in that. And people will see through that. They truly will. Bless you. They'll truly see through that. But that's a really important one, too, so remember that. Just don't respond to respond. Here's one, too. Silence. Very awkward. Silence is awkward, especially in an interview. You think of what's going on, and your heart rate's up, and your endorphins are shooting in your mind, and your brain was around there, and there's some silence there. And especially when you're asked a question, because what's your immediate response when I ask you a question? You want to give me a response right back, right? Someone asks you a situational type question, for example, don't be afraid to take a couple seconds and think about it. My best responses, in my experience, I've done hundreds and hundreds of interviews, Les can attest to this too, are the quiet people that sit after I ask them a question and they actually think about the question. Do you agree with that, Les?
I would.
The silence. And it's okay. You may feel awkward because you're sitting here processing, but that's okay. I know you're thinking about the question. You're not just regurgitating something. And then 9 times out of 10, you'll give a 10 times better response just because you had a couple seconds to give yourself to think about the question.
And many times the person will say, as you're asking the questions, they start to smile and they'll say, that happened to me in my student teaching experience.
Yeah.
So they have particular questions happen.
Yeah, and that's fine, but think about that situation before you just blurt it out, because you'll probably pick up something just in those couple seconds as you think about it, that when later on when you're home driving, we talked about earlier, I should have responded this way or should have added that. That's where you'll pick that up. So don't be afraid to use that time to think. Silence is good when it comes to that. Be yourself. Remember, an interview is a courting period for both parties. It's time to project the real you. A carefully groomed but unreal image will haunt you later. After a few weeks on the job, the real you is bound to come out. So if someone asks a question or poses a situation that you find unattainable, speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up about that. Again, we talked about that earlier. Be honest and straightforward. Be factual and concise. Learn the value of silence. Again, what I just talked about there. And when it comes to your turn to ask questions, be certain that they are relevant and limit your questions to no more than 2 or 3 minutes there, it should say, at the end. And then it'll probably go on more from that because some discussions usually ensue. That part about being honest, as you know now and well aware, the governor with rules and regulations, teachers, we do the FBI, the fingerprint-based, and ISP, Illinois State Police-based background checks. When those things come back, folks, and there's a lot of questions out there with this has only been in really practice for 2 years now. Any arrest that you have will show up on that, okay? Any arrest, not convictions. It's a whole different thing. And convictions, according to the school code, is what we can deny someone employment for, and those are pretty severe. But convictions will show up there. And if there's one thing I could do, I would go into, and I would tell in the teacher ed programs throughout the universities in the state, you speak to your freshmen that are thinking about going into education. Because this is new and those things pop up. And we understand that we all make mistakes. But if they're repeated mistakes, those things now we get that information on and we think about that. So if someone asks you, especially on the application, if you've ever been convicted of any violation of the law, even if it's a traffic ticket, say yes and write down it's the traffic ticket. Because if you're not honest about that, we're going to get the information back when we do the fingerprint and background check. So, again, if you're not honest, because you feel it's going to delineate your opportunity to get a position, that's really going to hurt you because we go back to your application and it says you signed that you were honest and you answered every question on the application honestly and then you didn't. And our probably relationship's going to be terminated right then and there. So be honest about those things. Okay? Speeding ticket, write it down.
What about I'm sorry.
Underage drinking, write it down.
No, what about like if you got a speeding ticket but you did that class thing so it's not on the record?
It's going to show up on the FBI one.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Even though you get that's called when they give you court supervision, right? And you got to go to the classes.
Yeah.
That's an admission of guilt. Okay, that's really what that is. So that goes down, even though it goes off your record for insurance purposes. X amount of months later, it still goes down as you were arrested for speeding, as you were charged with speeding. Your charge and arrest show up. And believe me, I've seen people where the charges came up and we hired them. And I'm like, man, your car insurance must be outrageous because I've never seen so many speeding tickets. Yes?
So it is 1984 then?
Yep. Yeah. Somewhat. But let me put this scenario to you. All you have to do is read the newspaper in Urbana, Illinois. What's going on with second-grade teacher right there? I have no problem with it being 1984 because I have 3,400 students that I do not want to put anybody in a classroom that demonstrates behaviors that are dangerous to health and safety of those students learning and growing. I have no problem with that. I have a 9-year-old, 6-year-old, and 2-year-old son. I have 2 of those in the public education system right now. I want to make sure everything's done as a parent, that my kids are safe. And like it or not, we are held to a higher standard in education. We are held to a higher standard. This isn't business. Okay, this isn't private industry. This is public education. And when you have an awesome responsibility with those 20 kids in your classroom every day. And folks, it happens. In personnel, it happens.